Pretty good. You know, not satisfied, obviously, and I look at it as I have 4 more months to keep getting better and then keep getting better throughout the season. So I'm happy with where I'm at right now. Coach Doman is relatively happy with my progress right now, and so, you know, not too bad at the end of the day.
Where do you personally kind of want to take your game from last year to next year?
Just to be able to, you know, do all the things that Coach Doman asked of me, and I think, you know, my passing efficiency was pretty good last year, and hopefully I can improve on that and improve completion percentage. Felt like, you know, only at times did I struggle with turnovers and interceptions, things like that. Felt pretty confident with the offense, but, you know, those are going to happen. But if I can manage the offense, keeping those types of situations at a low number, I think it would be great.
Brandon made the point last week that while a lot of us tend to perceive you as just kind of a playmaker guy, that you truly can do the entire historic, traditional BYU offense. I mean, do you feel comfortable? I mean, is that?
I believe I can, whatever that is. I think everyone has this idea of what it was like in the past, but as you look at all the quarterbacks who've come through, they're all very different guys and they all play very different. But one thing they did do was produce. So if I can produce, then great. I think that's what it means to be a BYU quarterback. Now, what does it look like? I think everyone's memories have faded a little bit into thinking that everybody back in the day looked exactly the same, when that's not true. I've dusted off the film and I've sat in the film room and analyzed each one of their games, each one being very different and very unique, but they led the Cougars to win. So that's the tradition I hope to follow, is leading us to wins and producing from the position of quarterback.
How far back have you gone with those guys?
All the way back to Virgil Carter. So he was our first All-American, and that was the old. That was on some 8mm film that someone had digitized. It was only a half of a game back in the day against Utah. So back when the field was where the RB is now. So, and then from there, you know, you got Mark Wilson and McMahon, and then Young and Bosco. Anyway, I'm sure I'm going to leave some guys out, but basically all those All-Americans, I've looked and studied their game, and the game has obviously changed. But I think the era kind of started with McMahon, and I've definitely watched a lot of him, and then Young and Bosco, Wilson, Detmer. Oh, I'm forgetting Gifford Nielsen, who was probably one of the best because he was the first one to do it. He didn't have anyone to teach him. So, man, like I said, that's the BYU quarterback, is a guy who wins and leads his team to wins and produces.
Is the Steve Young comparison just too easy, though, when you look back at those guys? I mean, is there anybody that you kind of have a kinship with, do you think, in terms of style or appearance, that kind of thing?
Not really. I'm me, and Steve was a lot faster than me and a lot better runner than I was, and I just kind of get whatever I get out of luck more so than anything else. I'm just really good at dodging guys. You know, he was a lot more gifted of an athlete than I ever hoped to be, and but yeah, I mean, the way he was able to battle his way back, I look at more his whole career, and more so than anything else. And I mean, all of them had it. McMahon, after playing, redshirted a year and then came back, and so they all had their battles with adversity, and so they had to overcome that. And I more so than look at the specifics and try and incorporate the specifics into my game, I look at how they handled certain situations, you know, and you talk about that. Both those guys, McMahon at the end of the Holiday Bowl, and then Young, I believe it was another Holiday Bowl, when he caught the rollout pass, just kind of getting it done, you know, and winning games close down to the wire, being a guy that your teammates can look to when it's crunch time. And so all those guys were different. Bosco playing with the broken leg, you know, and all that stuff. And then Ty Detmer taking down Miami, you know, probably one of the biggest stages in the last 20 years, if not the biggest, and doing things like that. So those are the things I look at more, and I try and focus on rather than their specific mechanics and things like that, because although the system looks the same, it's not, and technique is advanced, and the way I'm you know, Brandon Doman's a different quarterback coach than all the quarterback coaches they had, and different offensive coordinators. So I just look at who those guys were and try and be like who they were, rather than do exactly what they do, because if I try and do that, I'm never going to do it, and I'm just going to end up frustrated.
You see McMahon punt at all? McMahon?
I never was able to see that on film. No, I saw film from his senior year. Did he punt all the way up to his senior year? Yeah, so his freshman year was when he played, and then he redshirted his sophomore year. Now, I only saw him do that. But, man, I'm telling you, I practiced a lot last year when I was on special teams. They never let me actually kick it. I think I can do it if they call on me.
You're going to play a big part in leading the player-run practices once this week's over. What do you want to see out of the team this summer as you get ready for the fall?
Nothing needs to change just because the coaches aren't there. That's my biggest goal for this offseason, is it tends to be to get a little bit lax. If anything, I would hope that we would push it even harder. And we've got a lot of experience. We've got guys who know their positions and are masters. And even if we have a question here or there, all it takes is a quick text to a coach to be like, hey, on this play, what's your exact technique, or whatever. So that part I expect to be taken care of. Now, it's going to be summer, coaches aren't there, and the natural tendency is to take it easier. I would hope that we're harder on ourselves, and so that when fall camp rolls around, the coaches are having to throttle us back rather than having to push us forward.
The guys that do take it easy in the summer, is it easy to tell come first day of fall?
Hopefully there won't be any of them. And looking to the past, it's in the past, and so the summer is ahead of us, and so hopefully there won't be any of those guys that take it easy.
Okay, thanks, Riley.
Thanks, guys. Yep.